Hey everyone, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylee and happy 2021. It's a weird time. It's a very weird time in the world right now. That is for sure. And I didn't want to pressure myself too much to make goals and to push myself in ways that are not normal during a global pandemic, which we are still in. So stay inside, stay home, please. Thank you. A lot of the goals that I made aren't very concrete goals, and I know that a lot of people say that when you are making goals to make them measurable goals and concrete goals, but that just was something that I felt like was putting too much pressure on myself this year. But I did still want to continue to make my yearly goals because I feel like I can always better myself no matter the situation. I mostly make these videos every year to hold myself accountable and to look back on towards the end of the year. I wanted to keep that tradition going even in these crazy times, and I think it'll be very interesting to look back a year from now and see my goals for the beginning of this year and see where this year is going to bring me and where it brought me. So I actually have the same notebook that I wrote down my goals in last year. I have been using this notebook forever. I journal in it almost every night, and it is just there is so much growth in this notebook alone. It's wild to look back on. I started using this notebook in 2019, actually. Without further ado, let's get into my goals. So my first goal, honestly, I don't know how to word it in a way that won't sound weird or like TMI. It's to keep up with my personal hygiene when my mental health is starting to deteriorate. And it feels so gross and wrong to say, but I know that so many people struggle with this. I know I'm not alone. When I am starting to slip mentally and not do well mentally, I find it very difficult to keep up with my routine personal hygiene. And it sounds gross and it's embarrassing to admit, but it's honestly something I really struggle with when my mental health is slipping. So a huge goal for me this year is to, even in times where I'm not doing so well mentally, to really encourage myself to keep up with my personal hygiene, because I know it'll make me feel 10 times better and more productive, and just it'll put me on a good path to also improve my mental health. My second goal for 2021 is to just put myself out there more. And I know that that is so vague and not specific at all, but I have struggled a lot, especially this school year, with making plans with friends and seeing other people, and in a safe way, don't get me wrong. Being back at school, I am getting tested weekly. My friends are also getting tested weekly because we are all dancers and are going to be on campus this semester. And last semester I had a really hard time making plans with friends, going over friends' houses, and I also struggled with feeling very lonely last semester, but didn't put in the effort to see people or do things or distract myself. And it was not the best for my mental health. So this semester I really want to work on putting myself out there, talking more to people in class when I am in person for my dance classes, going over my friends' houses, inviting them over here, like I said, when it is safe, and being responsible. I just want to put myself out there more and be a lot more social this semester as the pandemic allows. I feel gross saying this next goal because it is so basic and so oh my god, really? But it's true. I really want to work on going to bed earlier and waking up earlier. I love mornings. I do not like nights, but I have such a hard time waking up early. And this time last year, I was going to bed at 10 p.m. My natural body instinct was to wake up at 7 a.m. Even on the weekends, I would just wake up at 7. Didn't need an alarm, nothing, would just wake up at 7, be ready to go. I mentioned this before, my mental health really slipped last year, around spring semester, around this time. And the pandemic also was not much of a help. I totally lost that routine, as I'm sure a lot of people did. I would really like to try this semester. My battery's gonna freaking die. Are you kidding me? I just really want to try to wake up earlier, get my day going earlier, and then go to bed later, because I don't do well once the sun sets. Once the sun sets, I'm all right, I'm ready for the next day. So why not wake up earlier to get more sunlight and go to bed earlier to get more sunlight? I think that's gonna benefit me. It's gonna benefit my mental health a lot. So that's why I want to do it. I don't want to do it to be more productive in the morning. I just want to have more sunlight in my daily routine, and going to bed earlier and waking up earlier will really help me with that. My fifth goal for the new year is to continue to make my mental health my very first priority. I struggled a lot with this. Many past years, I've never really put my mental health first. And then at the start of the pandemic, I slipped a lot with my mental health, as I'm sure many people did. And around May, June-ish, I finally was able to stop everything I was doing and put my mental health first, and that was the best decision I have ever made for myself. I have made so much progress mentally. I am in such an amazing place right now. Not perfect, I still struggle. I've become so in tune with myself and my needs, and that was all from putting my mental health first before school, before work. Well, I still struggle with putting it before work because I love my job so much, honestly. Just putting it before so many other things that I had prioritized more in the past. I haven't felt this good in a very long time, and I want to keep that track going. I want to continue to make my mental health my first priority, and I encourage every one of you to do the same. So now my fifth goal, the last was my fourth, but my fifth goal, very vague, is just to read more. I love reading. I just never give myself the time to do it because I always would rather be on my phone, watching TikTok, watching YouTube. My natural instinct is to just go to a screen before going to a book. And what I've started doing in my night routine is trying to get in bed by 10, allowing myself to watch one YouTube video, and then I can read until I want to go to bed. And that has been amazing for me, not only in going to bed on time, but also just shutting down my mind and getting off screens. The book that I'm reading right now is called Didn't See That Coming by Rachel Hollis. I love it. I'm like excited to get in bed and read at night. I have so many books I need to read that are sitting on the shelf in my living room right now. I just want to spend less time on screens and more time reading this year, and I made that very vague for a reason so that I don't feel like a disappointment if I'm not like reading 2 books a month or reading every single night. I just want to read more this year. My sixth goal for the new year is a really big one, and I know that it's going to be very challenging, but I've made a lot of progress towards it in this last year, and that is to completely and utterly fall in love with myself. And that was so gross to say, and that sounded so cheesy, but it's so true. Specifically the past few years, I've struggled a lot within my depression and my anxiety, just loving myself, and I can finally say that I think I've gotten to a point of liking myself. I like who I am. I like who I've become. I like what I do. My goal for this year is to keep going with that and to just fall in love with everything I am. And I'm really proud of the progress I've made with that so far. And all I want to do is to continue making progress with that until I love myself. So my camera died. I'm sorry if the frame changed at all. I will never, ever be able to film a sit-down video without my camera dying halfway through. My seventh goal for the new year is to continue to build both my mental and my physical strength. And again, that is very, very broad, but as I mentioned, I wanted all of my goals for this year to be broad. I want to get stronger. I want to build my muscle mass. If you have been watching my channel, you know that I have had a very long-term wrist injury that has caused me to lose a lot of my muscle mass in my upper body. I have not been able to do many upper body weight activities, and it's been really hard. Like, I tried to do a push-up the other day, like on my fists, and I could barely do 1 push-up, and I can't even do 1 pull-up anymore. I've lost a lot of my strength because of this injury, and it's really discouraging if I'm being honest. Like, everything that I had worked for, I kind of lost because of my injury. I really want to work on building that strength and getting it back, and just to feel strong again, because I don't feel strong at all right now. And there's not a ton that I can do. It's still an issue. I still haven't had surgery, but I'm hoping that by the end of this year I am able to say that I did build on my physical strength more than, it is right now. And in terms of mental strength, I pride myself in how much growth I have made in my mental health and my mental progress this past year, and I just want to continue down that path. I want to find more effective coping mechanisms. I want to become even more in tune with my emotions and more accepting of my emotions and build my mental resilience, and to just honestly keep going down the path that I'm going down right now. My 8th goal for the new year is to allow myself to feel hard feelings without critical judgment. That's something that I continue to struggle with pretty deeply, consistently, constantly. When I'm feeling hard feelings, I tend to judge myself for them and knock myself down and either try to change them or distract them or just get rid of them, and you can't do that. Like, hard feelings are just as important as like happy and excited and nice feelings. The hard feelings are just as important, and it sucks to feel them. It's not fun, but it's normal and it's important. I feel hard feelings a lot. As someone who struggles with my mental health, I feel them a lot, and I can say from personal experience, they're not very fun, but they're important. and I want to start being able to recognize when I'm feeling these hard emotions, recognize that it is okay that I'm feeling them, and to not try to turn them into something that they're not. I just want to accept them for what they are. I don't want to give them too much power. I don't want them to take over me, but I just want to be kinder to myself when I am having moments where I'm feeling hard feelings and going through some hard things. Again, a very broad one, my 9th goal for the new year is to just be on technology, in technology, less. As an online full-time student, that's pretty tricky. So what I mean by that is to just not be on social media as much, not watch as much Netflix. And again, this is another really basic one that I'm sure everyone is so sick of hearing because no one ever really follows through with it. And I haven't talked about this on my channel much, but I did actually delete Instagram pretty early into quarantine, probably around the beginning of May. And I have felt little desire to get it back, and I have been on Instagram very few times since then. It has been single-handedly one of the greatest decisions I could have made for myself and my mental health, and I want to continue to do that more with other social medias. The reason I deleted it was because it was a huge trigger for me. It was really bad at the time, so I deleted it, and I feel great about it. I feel no desire to go back on Instagram full time at all. I know that if I am on TikTok less, if I'm on Facebook less, those are really the only social medias I go on. If I watch less like YouTube and just less Netflix, that I'll feel even better and continue to go down that path. And if I can push myself to read more and do more puzzles and spend more time with my family and friends off screens, then I think it'll help me a lot, and I really want to encourage myself to do that this year. My 10th and final goal for this new year is to just speak up and communicate more. Through 2020, I had a lot of hardships with people in my life, and some of those didn't get resolved, and some people I did lose in 2020. It was very hard for me, and still is very hard for me. I'm still working through it and processing it, but a huge thing I've recognized within myself that I really need to improve on is communicating. And when I'm having an issue or a struggle with someone, putting it out there as soon as possible and talking it through with them, and not letting it like build up inside of me until it like explodes. And now that I've recognized that in myself, it is something that I've been doing for years with my friends, with my family, with myself. I really want to work on, one, speaking up for myself more, because I do not do that either, but just communicating better. Having hard conversations before these conversations turn into fights and screaming matches and just blow ups. That's really hard for me to do. I am not a confrontational person at all. I will avoid confrontation at all costs, but that has also shown to be not great for my friendships and for my relationships, and even detrimental to some of them. I don't want that to happen in all of my future relationships. It sucks really bad, and I know that I'm at fault for it a lot of times, and I really need to fix that, and I need to take on the responsibility of changing that within myself, speaking up more, being more confrontational, and just bringing things up when they are upsetting me instead of stuffing it down, because I don't want to bother anyone. Like, that's not going to do anyone any good, because it's all eventually going to blow up, and it's just not fun. Yeah, those are my 10 most significant goals for this new year. I'm feeling good about this new year. Personally, I don't want to put anything out there in terms of the state of the world. Things are looking up. I'm very hopeful. I am at such a good place personally and internally. I feel like this is going to be another year of some pretty immense growth. Personally, I'm excited to see what I do this year, and I'm excited to see what all of you do this year. I just wish us all the best year personally, and if I can encourage you all to do anything, it is to put yourself first and work on yourself. It is the most incredible and empowering and rewarding feeling in the entire world. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, definitely give it a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my weekly uploads. I upload every single Sunday, or at least I try to. With school, it's been very hard, but I'll pat myself in the back. I've been doing a pretty good job with it. But I will see you all in my next video.